they had a group of leftists acting like typical leftist Antifa. And unfortunately, the University of New Mexico doesn't seem to care not only about my safety, but the safety of their own students, and left us all barricaded in a room with basically rabid banshee animals trying to bust down the doors to get to us. State police had to be called, Albuquerque police had to be called, the emergency response team had to be called, and I spent most of my night hiding in the back of a kitchen. So those are the cliff notes.
So let me walk you through. You were giving a talk at the University of New Mexico. You were supposed to do it in the student union, but it ended up, so people can get a visual here, of you having to be protected and, in fact, barricaded in a room in the back, as you said, in the kitchen, as a bunch of New Mexico students were trying to get at you. And I read while they were chanting all these vulgar things towards you. Does that sum it up pretty good?
Well, we were actually in a room in the student union. So we had a room blocked off. We knew that there was going to be a protest. You know, there's F white supremacy. So this has been going on for a couple of days. The university was well aware of planned protests and that they were coming. And this happens, you know, every time I go to a campus. Usually there's some kind of a resistance, which is fine. You know, I love the First Amendment. But we were in a room, and of course the doors were closed, kind of like a banquet hall type of room in the student union. And these protesters were not supposed to be allowed to get into the actual student union. They were supposed to have to stay outside in the courtyard. But they overwhelmed the campus police and busted in. So they were trying to get in the doors into our room. So we're in like a conference room type of an atmosphere. And they're trying to bust in the entire time I'm doing this speech. And they're pushing officers, assaulting officers, trying to get in. And at one point, the fire alarm was pulled. It was just kind of mass chaos. And then they rushed me back into the kitchen where they had to call in emergency response, and I had to leave in an armored vehicle. So then the protest continued. My biggest thing is I fear for the students. I was escorted out. They made sure that I was safe when state police got there. But what about the students that were left in that room? I don't know how they got home last night. And that is what terrifies me the most.